All right, so today's the parade for the Dodgers. I hope they're not working and thinking about their offseason yet. They should take a day and, if they're of age, kick back a few.
They're
Okay,
businessmen. They're always thinking about the next
you're
step.
right. Probably some of them are like, "Hey, I didn't get a phone call about Jorge Soler." It's like, yeah, you were a little
Yeah,
busy with the World Series. Don't
of
worry
course.
about it, okay? I
Yeah,
True.
also heard,
they're
yeah,
losing their DH. The Dodgers are losing. They're losing their full-time DH because he's gonna need to pitch and he's gonna need some time off. He won't be able to swing quite as much.
yeah, they'll be okay. They'll be okay. They're still not stupid enough to take on another DH when
Ooh.
they essentially need to use that spot. But again, we'll get to that later. Let's go to the Yankees offseason for now and take a look at their free agent board. Juan Soto is a free agent, breaking news. But also Gleyber Torres, Alex Verdugo, Clay Holmes, Tommy Kahnle, and Loizaga and Tim Hill on that list definitely
Mm.
was a big factor for the Yanks. Birdie and Bickford on there as well. So, what do we think if we're putting our GM hat on right now? I'm aware the offseason is going to revolve around Soto. And I mean that not in just the way that they go after him, Todd Father, but also if they don't get him, they are allocating a lot of money his way. They're going to use that money, maybe not all of it, but they're going to use that money elsewhere. It's not like they're just going to sit down. The Yankees do always make moves. This is a team that puts a lot into the roster and making action. It doesn't always work, but what do you think?
Yeah.
And do you think it almost kind of is two separate buckets that we have to do? Like, here's what they do if Soto comes back, because he's going to take up
Yep.
a good chunk, right? And here's what they do if not.
100%. And it all, in my humble opinion, it all goes around Juan Soto. What he does, the Yankees then must figure out what to do, whether they get him. Then they're like, oh boy, all right, we're going to have to, nickel and dime our way through after this. Or if they don't, then it's like people are going to look, well, you were going to spend this much on him. You can easily get 8 to 10 players with the money you were going to spend on him. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I think if you don't get Juan Soto, it's going to be a big problem because he is, he's probably the second best hitter in baseball right now, if you want the truth, as of now. Who wouldn't want Juan Soto? I know the Mets are going to be on his tail. LA, what I heard, might have an opportunity. I'm not going to say every team because some teams just won't even try, but the big teams are going to be going after this guy. And, he said, when I was watching the interview after the game, they were absolutely hounding this guy questions for next year. And the game just ended like 30 minutes ago. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, you know what? And I thought he answered him great, without, being like, oh yeah, man, Yankees are my only home, man. You got to make a decision, a business decision. And I think he answered him in the best way possible. Listen, all 30 teams have a chance. And, that they were just absolutely hounding him about what he's going to do. And I thought he did very well. So it's Juan Soto. And then after that, it's time to figure it out and get a bunch of guys.
Yeah, I mean, there's ramifications to signing Juan Soto. Everybody thinks, well, the Yankees have all this money. They do. To me, I don't think there's financial ramifications. There's roster ramifications to it because Juan's going to play right field. He's not going to DH. He's going to be 26 for the entire season next year. He needs to take up a DH spot, then don't even sign him. But if you put him in right field, now you're putting Judge in center. We talked about this ad nauseum last offseason. Judge in center field is, to me, in my opinion, above average. He can do it, but you got to keep him on the field. You're not looking to win just next year. You're looking to win for the next 4 or 5 years if you sign Juan Soto with Judge. The Yankees are always looking to win. So Gleyber's gone. Jazz is going to move to second base. You have a spot at third base. I know the analytics will say we can platoon that spot. We can, if we put all that money into Juan Soto, we can platoon that spot. You still need a big league third baseman. To me, I think defensive positions, the value is at third. I understand that the best players play shortstop. You need an unbelievable catcher. You need an unbelievable center fielder. Now with Juan Soto, You have Judge in center. He's not unbelievable. Volpe's Gold Glove at short. Wells is doing a lot behind the dish for you. You need to have a defensive upgrade at third base. You can't just find people who have played third. So signing Juan maybe doesn't allow you to get that third baseman that you need to plug that hole.
Agreed. 100%. There is ramifications, but ultimately that's the guy you want, and then you can work your way. Some young guys are going to have to step up. The Martian, if they don't get him, just to name, there's other guys too as well, but there's a lot of different increments we could talk about if they do not sign him, and that's for a whole nother 2-hour session in the offseason once he does sign.
Yeah, but let me take us back. So we covered this a little yesterday, but let's get Todd Father's thoughts. So everyone tries to read between the lines right away, and they saw a couple things. Number one, Juan Soto's the last one in the dugout, I think, and he's kind of soaking it all in, looking up, doing the whole deal, right? Yeah, exactly. Like I thought it was really cool. Like that shows you how much he appreciated what he just did. He got to go through a season in New York. It was a dream for him to play with the Yankees. And I do not think it has anything to do with where he signs. I legitimately do not think he knows where he's signing yet. He's going to the highest bidder. I think he was just shedding some appreciation, knowing that there is a chance a team outbids the Yankees and he ends up there. And now take it post-game, Todd Father. People are trying to read between the lines of what he said. And they're like, because some free agents will say, oh, I hope I stay with this team. But then they still leave because then it kind of puts it on the team like, well, they didn't think I was worthy and this team did. I think it's just another way to slice it. He essentially was telling it like it is. The Yanks don't get a discount. They're in it just like everyone else. And he kind of said, don't ask me, ask ownership, right? Because they're the ones who are actually going to make the offer. They decide how much I'm worth. If another team decides I'm worth more, great. Again, just telling us what we already knew. He is going to the highest bidder, and the highest bidder will be a big market team. So what did you take from what he said? Do you think it was like total nothingness and everyone should relax?
Yeah, to go back to your first point about him sitting there, was he sitting there like, I know we just lost, but probably my last game ever a Yankee? Or was he sitting there like, what am I going to do next year? I can't wait. This is the place I want to play for, man. I'm coming back. We were that much closer. All right. Yeah, that's what I was thinking about when he was sitting there. The last one there, like, it was a fun ride, or, can't wait for next year. I'm just taking it all in. So that's a question I want to ask Susan Waldman about too as well. So once she pops on here. But yeah, I thought he did really good. I thought he did really well with answering the questions. And, English isn't his first language, and I thought he knocked it out of the ballpark.
Yeah, that's a good point, too. All great calls. And I just wanted to reiterate, and I certainly did yesterday, that it means nothing yet. We need to see what kind of offers are thrown out there. So here's what we'll do. We'll talk to Susan Waldman, Yanks broadcaster, coming up next about what she just saw from this team and what to expect in the offseason as we wrap up the World Series and get ready for the hot stove.